So yeah, this person asked in the group whether they should change their anchor text. I guess they used a money anchor, and they thought that it was either hurting their site or it was not reacting positively, and so they wanted to change to a natural anchor, branded, naked, or random, generic.
Like one PBN link?
Right, one PBN link. And so anytime we hear this
Okay.
right out of the gate, I'm typically going to say just PM me the URLs because it's very rare that you're going to hit something with a PBN link. Now, sometimes you can get volatility from just using one PBN link, but he said it had been a couple weeks. And so typically, we're not going to see just one PBN come in and just
Yeah.
completely screw up what's going on with the site,
Yeah.
unless
Like
there's a
one
lot of
link,
other
one
variables.
anchor.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't really work like
not
that.
really. Yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and I guess throw the first one up in Ahrefs. Um,
That's this one.
sure. Yeah, that works. I mean, um, they're both really they've got the same issue. So we're gonna kind of
That's
just
okay.
go through them, in unison.
So I'm gonna throw one up for
Yeah.
the stream. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I already know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and the September update looks like it affected this site as well. I don't know about you kids out there, but I know the September update has not
I've
been
seen a
very
decent
kind to
amount
me.
of people that have gotten hit actually. I didn't think it was really like a big thing, but I've seen a decent amount of people that got hit.
I've got
Which,
a couple sites that I'm working on that did something like this too. Now, today I was
which ones?
noticing, huh?
Can you somehow tell me which ones
No.
without giving it away?
Uh, I mean,
Whatever. I'll ask
no,
later.
yeah. But what I've noticed is, and this is something that I've seen happen before, right? So, whereas this might be cause for concern, and we're getting a little off topic here, but where this might be cause for concern for a lot of people. Remember, we just had two algo updates roll out, one after another, 1 month from each other. Um, and typically, when you see insane volatility like this, there's going to be some kind of corrective nature to it, especially if you see it across a lot of sites, which I have been noticing. And today, when looking at more specific rank trackers, I'm noticing a lot of rankings start to kind of come back. So I don't know what's going on exactly. It hasn't been very long since this started. Um, but I'm just kind of letting Google do its thing, and for me currently, it's stay the course because I do feel like we're putting out good content, we're doing proper backlinking campaigns, and yeah, we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. So back to this domain, you note that it does have a hard crash. Now,
Well,
good.
I was gonna say, just looking at it straight off, I mean, you're talking about like from like 20 traffic
Right.
down to 12
Hmm.
traffic. So it's like,
Yeah, it's not
yeah,
it's not even really worth writing home about.
yeah. And you got the keywords going up.
Yeah,
Just like looking at this like right away, if this was my site, I'd be like, oh, that sucks. What it looks like one of the keywords probably just dropped off of
yeah.
page one or something.
Hmm.
But the traffic is so low at this point, and you got the keywords still growing up. Like I just wouldn't worry about it at all, to be honest. But we'll
Now,
definitely look into it further.
what I would say is concerning is if you look how long this site has been gradually going up. Typically, if I've built a solid site, how many months was that? I can't really see the graph.
I mean, this is like a few months right here.
Right, it's like a few months. It's a local niche site, I think. Or I guess maybe they do national campaign. But either way, for a site of this size, something that we've been working on for a few months, it's really got very limited traction in the SERPs. And that's what kind of led me to believe that there was something else going on. I mean, like it's easy to order a PBN and this is another thing, if you're only right here with your project and you're not really 100% certain, which I'm not saying this specifically about this person, but just anybody who's in this position. You only just started getting traction, etc., and you're not sure about using black hat methods like a PBN, then I would say it's not the right time to use something like a PBN, much less something for a money keyword anchor. Especially if then you're worried about volatility involved being something that kind of like worries you. Did I do something wrong? Because I've talked about it a lot early on in my SEO career. I was trying to go that route, get the quick gains, etc. And all that ever happened was I would fill my head with, inconsistencies and things that would make me think, oh, shoot, I did something wrong. Now I'm going to be sandboxed forever, yada, yada. And there is no better game for Google to play or for search crawlers to play than that right there. Because that'll make you timid in your project. That'll make you, rethink everything that you're doing. And in the end, it's what causes a lot of SEOs to fail right out of the gate. So just a fair warning. But in analyzing a website like we often do, we're going to start off by looking at the traffic. So there we looked at the traffic and the organic keywords for 4 or 5 months of working on this site. It looks like it doesn't have too much traction, right? So then the next thing I like to do is jump directly into anchors, because it's going to tell me the most about what somebody is doing with their backlink profile. And for both of these assets that we're going to audit, you'll notice that here is, I think, where some of the main concerns come up. Are you on anchors right now?
No, I'm just looking at what happened, like what happened to his keywords, like what keywords dropped
I'll
and how
say
many
this
positions they
too.
dropped by.
Ahrefs has been really wonky since the September update.
Yeah, like for example, the traffic change column is just blank.
Yeah, but that actually
Which,
has been happening to a lot of sites that I've been monitoring, where I'm talking about massive page one positions, all of a sudden just erased overnight. And now, mind you, like I said earlier, I've
just in
noticed some
Ahrefs or
no specific using SE ranking, etc.
okay.
Really fell out. But I've noticed that today, for a lot of those that I was monitoring, they've started to come back. So I'm kind of interested in seeing how this plays out. It's a bit early to tell.
So just looking at the keywords real quick before we move on to the anchors, I just want to say, like, what we're looking at here is basically stuff dropping from like high page 3 to like page 4 or 5. Like I don't see anything on Ahrefs at least here's one that was on like very bottom of page 2,
Yeah.
then fell to the bottom of page 3.
Yeah.
So we're not even really seeing anything. It just nothing had really been even moved up to like the competitive positions yet, mid page 2, top of page 2 type stuff.
Right.
Okay, so let's go on. You want to go to anchors?
Sure. And we skipped looking over the on page, but overall, I remember kind of looking at it. It looked pretty good to me from an on page standpoint without getting into it too hard. So then going to anchors.
Okay, yeah.
And we're going to see that right up at the top, where we like to see natural looking anchors, branded, naked, some random stuff in there. Instead, what we're seeing is I can't read those, but very specific anchors, if I remember correctly. And then if you click down on the referring domains or links to target, you'll be able to see that a lot of these, which are naked URLs, and we're talking about like the top one is like 42 of those out of how many referring domains total? I can't remember, but it's like 140. So 42 going to an inner page, 27 going to an inner page, 20 going to an inner page, 16 going to an inner page. The first one that pops up for the home page, I believe, is 10 going to the home page for a naked URL. And these are all naked URLs, right? So then if we click on referring domains and see what these are, they're basically like directory type spam links, and not spam as in if you use these properly to the homepage, they would be bad links. But when we talk about directories or, using the same kind of more so spammy type links, like, we can talk about this one, scoop.it. It's something that comes with a bunch of Fiverr links. It's not a bad directory to be in, but you don't need every single inner page to have a link from scoop.it and then the other, however many of these links that you're kind of just like, it looks like you're ordering the same link
So it's
packages
kind of
to each
like
inner page,
so it's kind of
right?
like
This would
C
be,
tier directories.
yeah, exactly. So, I like to mix them in on my beginning campaign as foundational or pillow style links, but that's to the homepage,
Yeah.
naked, branded URL to the homepage. Now, what we're looking here is an extreme imbalance that's going to inner pages rather,
He's using like the
and
same
this shows
directories
up
on each page.
exactly.
Mhm.
And he's got this going on with both of these assets. So both
Done the
websites,
same exact thing.
basically the same type of thing. And then, orders a PBN link and see some adverse effects because, you're basically just adding something that's rather unnatural to an already unnatural profile. Whenever we start link building, we need to look at the full view of the campaign. Google is taking into account everything that is hitting your website, everything that's going on with your website, and they are painting a narrative about whether this looks natural or not and whether it'll be rewarded in the SERPs. And when you kind of get off on the wrong foot, so you've ordered, these kind of directories, each the same ones, and it's good that you did naked URL over, money anchors, which we see a lot of people try.
Well, he's actually got
It's
a,
probably what's kind of.
if you like just ignore these C tier directories that he built, you see his number one spot would be branded anchor, which is cool. Number
Right.
two is
Yeah.
miscellaneous, which is cool. And then
Hmm.
comes all the exact match.
Oh, and so that's like 5 in comparison to 10, 9 in comparison to
But
10,
they
right?
add
As far
up,
as the
right? So
referring
it's like
domains.
boom,
Yeah, of
boom,
course.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
So, you look at this thing and you're like, okay,
It's
well,
different exact match, yeah.
anchors alone, um, don't look natural. And then where the links are coming from does not look natural. Going in after you've already purchased a PBN link, which is, if you're not really painting the full picture, then it's going to look unnatural again, especially depending on the quality of the PBN. Um, if you go in and then that's already been indexed and then you start changing anchors, scrambling, well, that's an even higher probability that you're going to mess more stuff up, right? Uh, so yeah, so basically, you've got an extreme anchor issue and an extreme referring domain slash backlinks issue. Or I said extreme. I don't necessarily think it's extreme
It's just
because you
that,
do have some
so I
traction.
think this is like kind of like my theory of I think you're exactly right. It's basically just low quality link building. So I
Hmm.
think what's happened, which happens a lot when people do this kind of link building in the beginning, is they'll get this traction like we see on the graphs, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's working. I'm doing SEO. Google loves it. And then Google kind of like realizes what's going on, wakes up the morning after and is like, actually, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they just kind of take it away. But not that he really even got up high or anything, but basically he brought the site to life just using some, basically some low quality directories and a bunch of exact match anchors. Um, but yeah, and then he adds the PBN on top of that, which is just another thing making things look more unnatural, right?
And when you do something like this, there is a high probability you do, quote, get sandboxed, right? That you're just going to stay in this level where maybe you get some top 100 results, but nothing is going to add up to traffic for you because it's just in this kind of purgatory stage where nothing really looks natural, so you're not going to be rewarded
Google
for that.
basically thinks you're shady.
Right. Now, um, since you have anything else you think we should go over?
Google will like say hi to you at a party, but then they won't have a conversation with you. They'll like try to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
get away, but
Walk
they
away
won't
real
like
quick.
really like talk shit about you or anything or like say anything bad to your face, but they think you're kind of sketchy.
Okay, we're enough. I feel like now we're kind of getting, let's be productive now. Unless you've got something else you think we should dig into. But I think for this asset, the main way, and for those of you that are newer to the show, the main way we like to audit a site, look at the overall narrative of what's going on in Ahrefs. Is it going up? And now, mind you, we use Ahrefs, but there are countless other tools, Majestic, SEMrush, etc., that you can use to kind of get an idea of what's going on. But yeah, so overall narrative. Does the DR look natural in relation to how many referring domains are pointed at your site, backlinks? Are you gaining traction in the SERPs, or have you been hit hard? In this case, it'd be hit hard. Okay, then let's check the anchors. Then let's check the referring domains. Then let's check the backlinks. And looking through that data, you're going to be able to get a much bigger picture or better picture of what might be going on with your site. Some sites are a little bit easier to digest and figure out kind of what looks most unnatural. And also remember that whenever something like this happens, there is always a remedy to what you can do to help fix things. Now, sometimes that's as complicated as having to buy a new domain, maybe 301.
These
But a lot of
the links
times,
aren't looking too good either.
no, they're not great links.
A lot of them are not very relevant either.
No, they're kind of that Fiverr spam I like to
Yeah, a lot
use
of like
right out of the
profiles
gate.
too.
hmm
Yeah, you just
Um, so, where do we go from here?
the same
You
thing we do
are
every time.
Yeah, well, what I would start off with is focusing exclusively on your homepage with naked, branded, and generic style links. No more money anchors, no more sending links to the inner pages, just higher quality. If you want to start off with directory links, citations, that kind of stuff, pillar linking, that's fine. But do it properly. It doesn't make sense for each interior interior page to have links from the same low quality assets with the same types of anchors, right? So start diversifying what you're doing, but exclusively to the homepage. Um, in there, also mix in, take part of that budget and use more natural links, talking guest posts and niche edits. Okay, PBN. Quite honestly, this site is not in a position where it should be using PBNs right now. You've already got one or a couple, that's fine. Leave them, move on from there.
Yeah.
And then start mixing in some higher authority, some better quality links into your campaign, but exclusively to the homepage. And do not deviate from that plan until you see these rank graphs start to correct themselves. And I'm not talking about the first month you see a little blip going up. I'm talking about your site has been rewarded in the SERPs, it's starting to gain traction, and then you can kind of start moving to inner
Wait till you
pages.
get
But
like a
again,
couple hundred traffic and you can sustain that, I think,
yeah,
probably for
well,
this
yeah, and
site.
you're getting some leads, etc., right? Because yeah, you're getting a little ahead of yourself, which is it's okay, right? A lot of SEOs do this. I know I did it early on, where you're trying to hit that big ticket. But the fact of the matter is, and Chris has posted about this, time is one of the best things to have on your side in the SERPs.
Yeah. So initially, I had seen his question too. He was talking about he thought it was the PBN link that caused this,
hmm
and that he wanted to change the anchor text on the PBN link, and like that was going to maybe solve the issue. I would just say absolutely not. Don't at this point don't do anything else weird. That's not a natural thing to do, and it's already a PBN link. Just leave it alone. Leave everything alone. Don't worry about changing any of your links ever really. Don't even really worry about disavowing the site or anything. It's fine. I would just, like Nick said, focus on your homepage only. Nick was saying adding more pillow links. I wouldn't even really worry about adding pillow links unless it's just like the big directory, like the big citations, like normal citations. I didn't, citations don't always show up on Ahrefs, so we don't really know what you have or whatever, but all the kind of directories we saw were all kind of just, C tier, kind of like low level stuff. So if you want to add more, you definitely can do that. But in general, I would just stick to the good stuff, niche edits and guest posts to your homepage, natural anchors, branded URL, generic. You can even do some like long tail kind of topical stuff that's kind of like random or kind of weird, but still like on the topic of your site. Stuff that you're not trying to rank for. But yeah, it's not really the end of the world. This site is like at the very beginning of its journey, right? And you saw a little pop from what you did. Then Google's like, hey, actually, this isn't looking too great. But at the same time, like the site is still adding keywords and stuff. So, I just, I'm definitely not like, if this was my site, I wouldn't worry about it at all. I would just start working on good links, adding good content, just keep doing all the good stuff. Focus on quality a little bit more here and just homepage for now. And just keep doing that, like Nick said, until you just see some sustained growth for a while.
We glossed over on page a bit, but now while you've been talking, I was like, let me pull some stuff up and just kind of inspect a bit more. So if you want to check out in the menu, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the first area service page.
The location page.
No, sorry, I'm looking at the other website now. Yeah, that one there. It's going to be the first location page that shows up, but I'm sure any of them will kind of do that. And then you start to go down, and the first contextual area, you see a bunch of inner links, outbound authority links, and then directly under that, in what looks almost like a footer, you see a bunch of doubling up on location-based links that are going to different areas. Anyhow, there's a lot of needless linking going on in here, in my opinion.
Got some white text down here.
I didn't even see
Look
that.
at this.
Yeah, so he's got hidden text.
With just keyword stuffing.
Keyword stuffing. Yeah. Okay. So,
Come on, bro.
Yeah. And so you're gonna need to rethink your on page a bit too. Some of these things that you're doing are old school. Like the keyword stuffing in white text over white background.
You can't do that.
And then you've got, like these GMB links to all these random spots. Oh, okay, so they are interlinks here. That's weird. Oh, some of them are, and then some of them go to GMBs. For
I see what
this,
he's trying to do. He's trying to give like location relevance.
Yeah, for stuff like that, I would worry more about like hub pages, right? Like, so a locations link, maybe in the footer somewhere, that then, goes to a categories page or something where, all your posts about the locations that you serve are going to be in there. This is a bit overdone, in my opinion, on the interlinking.
Yeah, I don't like how he does like about. So like he's got the city and then he's got the areas of the city, and each one is just like about that area of the city. Like, why not make it about, your service in that area of the city instead? Like we serve these locations in this city, and then you can go to those pages and they tell a little bit about your service in that location, and then they link back to the main city page.
Yeah. So
yeah, and these and the directions could go on the those little pages as well. area pages.
Uh,
But yeah, like like Nick was saying, and overall, the on page definitely looks like overdone and unnatural. They're just like jamming their
as far as
main keywords in like all
the
the
linking
headings
goes.
and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, just even like the headings and stuff.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just
Yeah, try using
like
synonyms and rewording things a bit to explain the same thing, right?
yeah. So like when I look at this, so uh, Google, one of the things they talked about in like one of their most recent updates was um, basically, are you making content that's designed for search engines and not people?
Right.
And when I look at this page, that's like the only thing I think about. It's like this is like literally like they don't think about the person at all, really. It's just like how can we jam everything in that we need to do?
Yeah.
But they're using like these kind of old school tactics and
And my
stuff.
guess is Google knows by now that if you've got white text over a white background, you're
Yeah,
not
that's a big
speaking
no-no.
to anybody that's landing on your page.
I can't remember they have a name for
Do
it,
they?
but yeah,
It's kind of
it's a no-no
masking
for
or
sure.
something.
Something like that. Yeah, I definitely want to get rid of that. But yeah, overall, just with the off page and the website itself, it just seems like over optimization and shortcuts.
Hmm.
It's just like shortcut on everything. Like everything is just trying to, I don't know.
So for on page, how would you
Look at all these links,
remedy
like
this
you said, it's great.
situation? On a personal level, you're not getting traffic already, right? So don't fear messing with stuff here. Go ahead. I would personally remove all these interlinks. Um, and then hypothetically, with the amount of content that you've got on here, maybe look for 3 to 5 interlinks that make sense, look natural here. And if you,
Look at this
no,
though.
yeah, I
These
saw.
he's even got outbound links to like
Yeah, to random stuff that
Wikipedia location page, TripAdvisor,
Stripe.
Stripe.
Yeah, right. And we're
Uh,
trying to you're trying to rank for local stuff. So like an about outbound authority link that I might use in a local situation would be like a local.gov site, right? And a Wikipedia page can work as well. But a lot of people that automatically go to Wikipedia, you'll come to find that they love going to Wikipedia for everything, which is just going to be another kind of no-no, right? Like you want to diversify your outbound authority links. You want to diversify your interlinking. All of this is going to look more natural than somebody that's, just kind of stuffing things in, and especially with the outbound authority links here, they don't really tell a lot as far as the narrative for what you're trying to rank for, which is a local service page.
so just like when you're thinking about what you're linking to from a very important page like this one, which is this page is probably supposed to be one of your major ranking
Right.
pages, like is a client, is a customer who lands on this page, will they ever want to go to a Wikipedia about the location? Will they ever want to go to TripAdvisor about the location? Will they ever want to go to Stripe? Will they ever want to go to any of these other pages you've linked to? Will they, if I'll say different cities, but it's like, for example, if this was a Houston location page, he's also linking to like his just randomly, he's linking to like for example, like New York and Los Angeles. Like the person, wants to get their whatever done in Houston. Why would they want to go click and
Right.
see what's going on? And it just,
Yeah, you're doing it for Google essentially, or crawlers in
yeah,
general, right? But that's not necessarily what the crawlers want anymore either.
yeah. There's a lot to clean up here. I feel like we need to go like back to basics, back to fundamentals.
Yep.
Don't try to do too much. Try to do the very basics,
Hmm.
and
And if you
concentrate.
got questions about what that is, go to the SERPs you're trying to rank for and look at what the people that have been rewarded with the top positions are currently doing, and kind of emulate that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, we're definitely here in the group. This is going to be a bit of a process, I think, to basically, help you out and try to get you on the right path because there's just a bunch done wrong here. Um, but
But
yeah,
everything is always fixable.
it's
Just,
definitely
remember
fixable. It's
that.
100% fixable. It's not the end of the world. These sites are pretty small. You don't have a ton of links. You didn't spend a bunch of money on the links. It's 100% fixable. But yeah, we're definitely in the group for you. I would start with. I don't think we have a good article on like interlinking.
I don't think so
I was
either.
gonna say
We've talked about it on live stream a bit, but
our on-page SEO article is good for just
another
like the fundamentals, but
thing I just noticed
huh.
is it's not unique content for these pages.
It's all yeah, it's just like it's all just like shortcuts and trying to game the algorithm rather than like
Yeah,
focusing on doing anything um, just like correctly and looks nice and
naturally.
natural. Yeah. Um, Maybe that's the word of that's the main idea of our feedback for this audit is you need to focus on doing things naturally. Like
Hmm.
we are SEOs, so we are gaming the system, but you need to do it in a much less blatant way.
Well, and remember, right? Like there are different schools of thought. If you're coming to us, we do typically promote things that are going to have longevity in the SERPs, right? Even if we're tailoring in kind of a little bit spammier tactics or something like that, it's going to be with longevity in mind. These things that we're looking at here remind me of about, like 10 years ago when I got my
Yeah.
start and you download these tutorials that are currently working off Black Hat World or any number of places similar to that, that would work then, right? But they are so gamey and they are so obvious that the tactics run once SEOs worldwide found out about them and started abusing them, those tactics, were eliminated as a possible use. It's not to say that you can't get stuff like this to work here and there, but you're better off if you're fairly untrained in this kind of stuff, then you're better off just going the way more natural, slow route for the longevity of what you're doing. Because ultimately, when you get into a position like this, okay, well, now you're in a position of auditing, and now you realize, well, shit, I've got to go back and I've got to basically gut this thing and almost start over using a different tactic, right? So the shortcuts became the long road in the end.
The longer road.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, I mean, shit, I've been there a million times early on in my SEO career. You can get out of it.
The cool thing though is that the site is basically we don't really believe in like a hardcore sandbox, but the site is
Yeah,
basically out of the sandbox. Like Ahrefs is picking it up, is showing keywords, is showing some traffic. Google is starting to kind of move it around and stuff. It's kind of come to life a bit, and that's like the worst part. I think it's just
hopefully
like
the September update though is we're hoping that let's see what happens with this thing. I'm I'm not feeling too great about it myself.
what do you mean? You mean for this site or for your sites?
Just for any site, but this site got hit with it, right? So let's see, because we're saying it's got traction, and hypothetically, before that hard dip, it did have
Well, I'm just
traction.
saying,
But the September update obviously popped it.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like the worst place to be is like before, just like nothing's moving. It's like the very
Yeah, sure.
beginning and just like nothing's happening. You're doing all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff, and
yeah.
so it's already starting to happen. So now you can go in, you can start making the changes slowly and surely. I bet if you just went in there and gutted the site and just made it some super basic site with just like very simple interlinking, I bet like it would like double or triple its traffic
I would think so
from
too.
its
Yeah,
high.
yeah.
Like it would just be like, okay. Like even with like the low quality links and stuff, I bet just like going and just like yeah, back to basics on the website itself would just have awesome results for it.
Mm.
But anyway, do we have anything left to say about this one? Is there anything else you wanted to look at on it or?
Just in considering the recourse of action, which is a disavow, I wouldn't do that until I've exhausted
Nah.
everything else. So, fix the on page, start doing better with your backlinking exclusive to the homepage, natural anchors. And if over the course of, a few months, you can't get it to act properly, then maybe a disavow would be something worth considering.
Yeah, go back to basics on the website. I wouldn't worry about disavowing anything. I feel like I mean, we're talking about like directories. It's just, I'd be really surprised if you couldn't just like push forward and the links
Yeah.
were the problem. Yeah, but yeah, back to basics on the website. If you're really lost and you're really not sure what to do, just go look at the top ranking sites. Go look for sites that are similar to yours that are in the top ranking spots and just look how they're doing it. And you're not going to find any that do, like, for example, even if we're just talking about only the interlinking, you will not find a single site doing the interlinking like you've done it, I don't think. But yeah, anyway, the top ranking sites are very good. You could just model your site out. You could even like copy their exact structure if you wanted to, if you really needed some guidance on it. But yeah, not the end of the world. Definitely fixable. You're still in the very like beginning. And hey everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the links below for more info on this topic, as well as other cool stuff like SEO case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks, and happy ranking.